All right, ready to jump into another deep dive. Today we're tackling something that often makes Italian learners a little nervous, let's be honest.
Yeah, I'd say so.
The subjunctive mood.
Yeah.
But hey,
Definitely a hurdle.
we know you're using Pronunciator out there and serious about really getting this beautiful language,
Absolutely.
which means facing those tricky bits head on right.
It's part of the journey, for sure.
Gotta be honest though, for me at least, the subjunctive always felt like that one level in a video game you just get stuck on.
Oh, totally. I get that. It's intimidating when you first come across it. Makes you wonder, what's the big deal with all these different verb forms?
Right, like is this really necessary?
But you know what? Here's the thing. Once you unlock this level, it's like the whole game opens up in a way you wouldn't believe. You unlock a new level of expression in Italian.
Ooh, I like that analogy.
Right.
Okay, so walk us through this then. What's so special about this secret level of Italian?
Think of it this way. The subjunctive mood is like that secret ingredient that elevates a dish. You know how some regional spices can just transform a simple pasta? It's the same with Italian. The subjunctive adds that depth, that authenticity that you don't get with just basic grammar.
Okay, so it's more than just textbook rules then.
Exactly.
So tell me this. Our prep materials describe the subjunctive as the mood of uncertainty, doubt emotions, basically anything that isn't a cold, hard fact.
It's all about perspective, your personal take on things. Instead of saying, mi piace il film, I like the movie, you might say, credo che il film sia bello. I believe the movie is good. Do you see that shift?
I think so. What's the key difference there?
It's subtle but powerful. We've gone from stating a fact to expressing a belief. And that sia instead of that's your signal that we're in the realm of the subjunctive.
So it's like you're adding, in my opinion, even if you don't actually say the words.
Exactly. And that's very common in Italian. By the way, watch out for the word che. It often introduces a clause that requires the subjunctive, especially if that clause is about something uncertain, desired, or felt.
Which makes sense when you think about how important those nuances are in Italian culture.
Absolutely. Italians are known for their expressiveness, right? And the subjunctive. It's like it's woven into the very fabric of the language. It allows for this subtlety and emotional depth that you just wouldn't get otherwise.
Okay, I'm starting to see the appeal here. So we're not just swapping out one verb for another.
Yeah.
There are actual rules to this, right?
Right. And here's where it gets even more interesting. Remember how we've talked about verb tenses before? Well, guess what? The subjunctive mood has its own set of verb forms for the different tenses.
Yeah, that's what I thought. And that's usually the part where my brain starts to feel a little overloaded.
It can seem like a lot to juggle all at once, for sure. But the key is to break it down.
Well, that's good advice for pretty much anything in life, isn't it?
Pretty much. And thankfully, this is where a good language learning program can be a lifesaver. I'm sure Pronunciator does a great job of this.
No shade on Pronunciator.
Of course not. It's about breaking down those complex grammar points into manageable steps. Focus on mastering one tense of the subjunctive at a time. Practice using it in different situations. And before you know it, those seemingly complicated conjugations will become second nature.
Like learning a dance routine, right? You don't nail it on the first try. You practice the steps individually, and then slowly but surely you piece it all together.
Exactly. And just like with that dance routine, the more you practice, the more natural and effortless it will become.
So we've talked about what the subjunctive mood is and how it works, but for our listener who's out there putting in the work with their Italian lessons, what's the big payoff? Why does this really matter?
Mastering the subjunctive is like unlocking a secret level of Italian fluency. You'll not only understand native speakers better, but you'll also be able to express yourself with a depth and authenticity that will truly impress.
So it's about more than just sounding like a textbook. It's about truly connecting with the language and the culture.
Precisely. You'll be able to navigate those nuanced conversations, share your opinions more effectively, and really connect with the beauty and expressiveness of the Italian language.
It's like you said earlier, adding that dash of spice that elevates the whole dish.
Exactly. And here's something I find fascinating. Once you start to grasp the subjunctive, you'll realize it's everywhere in Italian, even in seemingly simple everyday conversations.
Like a secret code that you're now in on.
In a way, yes. And as you become more and more comfortable with it, you'll find that it adds a whole new layer of meaning to everything you hear and everything you say.
So for our listeners out there, I have a little challenge for you. Pay attention to how often we express uncertainty or possibility in our own language.
That's a great point. We may not have a specific subjunctive mood in English, but we find ways to convey those shades of meaning all the time.
Exactly. The subjunctive is just the Italian way of doing it. And that, my friends, is a window into a whole new world of understanding, not just linguistically, but culturally as well. It's about getting into the Italian mindset.
And that's a journey worth taking, wouldn't you say?